Is a loner, he often rides his motorbike and attaches takeout menus to the doors of homes. One morning, his motorbike accidentally blocked the garage door of a rich businessman. As he moved the motorcycle, the businessman glared at him. If the menus weren't taken down after a day, Tae-suk would understand that these families wouldn't be home for quite some time. He will pick the lock and enter these houses. Tae-suk will live as if this is his home and move out before the owner returns. Tae-suk also has a hobby of taking pictures with the owner's photo, as a way for him to mark his achievements. After that, Tae-suk helps these families wash and dry the clothes as if he were a member of the family. Tae-suk leaves as he sees the family have returned home from the trip. Tae-suk returned to the house of the rude man, named Mingyu, he had met the day before. Seeing that the menus hadn't been removed, Tae-suk picked the lock and went inside. He checked around the house, but didn't notice the homeowner's wife, Sun-hwa, with a bruised face sitting in the corner. Min-yu called to apologize to his wife. Her injuries were caused by domestic violence, when Tae-suk was sitting looking at a photo album on the table, which were attractive photos of Sun-hwa. She quietly watches Tae-suk, as he goes to the kitchen to cook, eat, and wash Sun-hwa's clothes. Tae-suk went to the garden and watered the plants, then took Min-yu's golf set and started practicing. Then take a shower, fix up a few household items and get a photo of Sun-hwa to add to his collection. Sun-hwa peeks at Tae-suk while he's sleeping, and suddenly Tae-suk wakes up, neither of them saying anything. At this time, Min-yu's voicemail also came out. He urged Sun-hwa to answer the phone, otherwise he would use violence. Tae-suk is about to leave when he hears Sun-hwa screaming into the phone. The two looked at each other for a moment and then Tae-suk left. Tae-suk sat in the middle of the road and wondered, then he decided to drive back. In the house, he hears Sun-hwa crying in the bathroom. Tae-suk picks up her dirty clothes and prepares her new one. As Sun-hwa sits down on the sofa, Tae-suk rolls her a golf ball. She picked it up and rolled back to him. The ball headed toward Sun-hwa again, as she rolled back, but the person standing there was her husband. He yelled at her for not answering the phone, which made him nervous and unable to do his job. He hated the whole outfit she was wearing and kept yelling as Tae-suk watched them from the garden. Min-yu then tries to be calm and starts kissing with Sun-hwa, but she resists. Min-yu gets angry and slaps her. Then he blames her for making him do it, but Sun-hwa doesn't respond. At this time, he heard the sound of golf and ran out to check. He saw Tae-suk and immediately called the police. Tae-suk calmly hits one golf ball on Min-yu's balls, then one to his throat and one to his stomach. When Tae-suk was about to hit one more time, seeing Sun-hwa's worried face, Tae-suk stopped and left. Sun-hwa steps forward to see Min-yu in pain on the ground, and then she walks away. Outside, she climbs onto Tae-suk's motorbike and the two leave together. Sun-hwa and Tae-suk quietly stick menus on the doors of an apartment complex, then she watches him practice golf. They went back to the apartment building and chose one room with the menu still on. When they went inside, they saw that this was a photographer's room. Tae-suk checked his voicemail and found out that he was taking pictures in a faraway place. By chance, this photographer used to take pictures for Sun-hwa. They found her picture hanging in his living room. After checking out the apartment for a while, Tae-suk goes to bed, and Sun-hwa cuts out her photo and arranges it in a messy way like puzzle pieces. Tae-suk wakes up looking at the painting and hears Sun-hwa washing clothes in the bathroom. Tae-suk smiled and went to cook. He prepares food for Sun-hwa and starts taking pictures with the furniture in the house. Sun-hwa also quietly walked over to take pictures with him. The two rearranged the furniture before leaving. Tae-suk continues to practice golf, but this time she stands in front of his shot, causing him to change direction, but she keeps standing in front of his shot. Tae-suk realizes something and the two leave together. When it got dark, they also chose a house. This is an apartment for a couple who have come to Hawaii for their 3rd anniversary. When Tae-suk was repairing the disc player, she asked him to cut her hair for her. And then, Sun-hwa went to the bathroom, sobered up and changed. When she stepped out, she took the initiative to take the camera to take a picture of their achievement. In this photo, Sun-hwa looked a little happier. The two continued to take pictures and then sat down to watch boxing. The owner of this house was a professional boxer. Sun-hwa brought out a bottle of wine and the two drank. After a while, she burst into tears. Tae-suk gently hugged her. He put her to bed. When he was about to leave, she held his hand and Tae-suk lay with her. Unfortunately for them, when the couple returned, the husband put on his gloves and rushed to punch Tae-suk in the face. Then, they just thought Tae-suk and Sun-hwa were drunk, so they let them go. Sun-hwa buys a noodle cup and feeds it to Tae-suk. The two are happy for a moment. Tae-suk continues to want to practice golf, but she stops him. Because her violent husband plays golf, she also hates golf. But this time, Tae-suk continues to play, his stroke causing the ball to slip and hit a car. When they went to check, they saw a girl with a very serious head injury. Her lover kept calling her name. Tae-suk sat holding his head and crying. He felt so guilty. Sun-hwa hugged him. The next day, The two of them continued to stick to the menus and found a rather large house and hugged him. The next day, the two of them continued to stick to the menus and found a rather large house in the evening. The two sat quietly drinking tea together. After a while looking at each other passionately, they kissed and did it. The next day, they went to another apartment. When they entered they smelled a strange smell. Tae-suk opened the door to check and found an old man dead and his dog still lying next to him. This old man lives alone, so he has his children's phone numbers next to his home phone. Tae-suk tried calling but couldn't connect, because they were traveling. Feeling sorry for the old man, the two of them held a small funeral for him, cleaned the house, and buried the old man in a nearby plot of land. That night, Tae-suk and Sun-hwa slept together like a couple. The next morning, the old man's son suddenly visited him, while the two were eating. Since the old man was nowhere to be found, the son quickly called the police. Both were taken to the police station. The police officer discovered they broke into many houses based on the photos they took. After that, Tae-suk was beaten and had to tell where they buried the old man's body. When the body was dug up, one policeman thought that the old man did not look like he was killed. After investigating Sun-hwa's identity, they called her husband. He came and angrily threw a few golf balls at Tae-suk. She had to follow her husband, and Tae-suk and she looked at each other with sad eyes. The autopsy results show that the old man died of lung cancer, not from murder, so Tae-suk will not be charged with murder. Min-yu tries to act gentle with Sun-hwa, but she still won't talk to him. He then meets the policeman, bribing him to bring him Tae-suk. Min-yu starts hitting Tae-suk golf balls in revenge. Tae-suk passes out after a while. He immediately grabs Tae-suk's collar. Tae-suk wakes up and attacks him. Tae-suk was sent to prison, and when he was with other inmates, he still practiced fantasy golf. Another prisoner takes Tae-suk's imaginary ball, and refuses to return it, prompting him to angrily attack him. Min-yu wants to do it with Sun-hwa but she refuses him, making him angry and goes drinking. When he returned, he tried to entice and force her, but she resisted. This causes him to slap her, but Sun-hwa slaps him back and then leaves. The next morning, she opens the scale piece by piece to do something. Then she goes to the house where she and Tae-suk first kissed. She gets in and lies on the sofa. Although the owners find it strange, they let her sleep. After waking up, she bowed to them and quietly left. When she gets home, she is interrogated by Min-yu, but she strongly resists. The fight puts Tae-suk in solitary confinement. He realizes something, starts to take off his shoes. The first time, Tae-suk hid by the side of the door, making it impossible for the guard to see in from the outside. The guard opened the door, beat Tae-suk and starved him that day. The second time Tae-suk climbs up to hide, the guard finds out, causing him to be beaten again. Tae-suk begins to practice a strange method of movement. The third time, the guard entered. He looked everywhere but Tae-suk was nowhere to be found. As he turned his back to the window, he saw Tae-suk's shadow behind him. Since the human eye can only see 180 degrees, Tae-suk trained to stand at the other 180 degrees. He turned around and hit Tae-suk. Tae-suk continued to try to practice this move by drawing eyes on his hands. The fourth time, the guard didn't see Tae-suk at all. He looked down at the ground and didn't see Tae-suk's shadow either. Suddenly, Tae-suk patted the guard on his shoulder and started hitting him. Sometime later, Tae-suk is released from prison. He started by finding the corrupt policeman, hitting him with a lot of golf balls. He went back to the boxer's house and messed with them. Then, Tae-suk goes to the photographer's house and takes Sun-hwa's painting. He went back to the place where they had first kissed and lay there. Finally, Tae-suk arrives at Sun-hwa's house. Min-yu also received the news that Tae-suk was released from prison, so he prepared himself. In the evening, Min-yu heard strange noises. He went out to check but did not see anyone. When he returns to bed, Sun-hwa sees a shadow outside. After Min-yu fell asleep, she went outside and looked around. Tae-suk appeared. As she stood looking in the mirror, Min-yu also wakes up, but only finds her standing alone. Suddenly, Sun-hwa said, "I love you." This made Min-yu really surprised. He was about to turn around to see if there was anyone else. Sun-hwa came forward to hug Min-yu. Tae-suk also slowly walked over and the two kissed passionately. The next morning, Sun-hwa makes breakfast and happily eats with Min-yu, but actually she always looks at Tae-suk standing behind when eating. After Min-yu goes to work, she turns on the music and looks for Tae-suk. When she felt him behind her, she slowly spread her arms and stepped back. She turns around and kisses Tae-suk passionately. The movie ends with the two standing on a scale, but the scale doesn't show weight. This is an open ending. The first possibility is that Tae-suk and Sun-hwa are both dead. The second possibility is that when Sun-hwa broke the scale apart, in the hope that when Tae-suk comes back, he'll quietly fix the scale so she knows he's back, just like when he first came there. And that was the movie. I hope you enjoy it. Remember to subscribe. See you in the next one. Bye bye.